Hello traders and welcome to Forex Friday. Stu Nagpan here, founder of Master of Markets Elite Trades Conference and the Traders Open Day. So as you can see right now, we are currently on the dollar Swiss trade. Okay, our smart money trade, swing trading trade, where you have seen us take it live in front of you. And as you can see right now on the account statements, it's just a little bit below break even at the moment, just in a little bit of profit. We'll let this trade run. We'll see how it comes out to be. Okay, so we'll see how that trade progresses. Now, let's go through, as we usually do, let's go through one topic for today. Let's go through just one topic. Now, let me just put this up right now at the moment in terms of, let's say, we can start off with cable over here. Now, as you can see over here, in terms of cable, what I want to really cover today is four outcomes of a trade. Okay, four outcomes of a trade. What are the four outcomes that we can have from a trade? You see, traders, as most of you would have heard of it, the first outcome that we can have from a trade is a small win. Okay, a small win. The next one is what we call a small loss. Okay, and then the third one is what we call a big win. And the final one is what we all want to avoid, which is called a big loss. Okay, that's the thing that we absolutely want to avoid, right? So these are the four trade outcomes that can happen in a trade. Right? See, most of the traders that we've come across, over the 20,000 traders that we've trained and mentored, you can see that most traders, one of the toughest challenges that they have, or something that keeps reoccurring again and again, is one where they make their profits, and then they lose it back. The reason for that is the maths has not been covered in terms of their statistical edge of their strategy. And one of the reasons for that is these big losses. Okay, or sometimes the big losses occur too frequently as well. Now, if that happens, you can eat up the profits and the equity curve can go the opposite way. Okay, so that's what you got to be careful of, right? Good. So now that we understand that, what I want to stress upon as well, and I want to extrapolate on this point, is that big losses, especially can occur, especially if you're intraday trading, can occur around big news days. Okay, as you can see over here, cable today, that was non-farm payroll today, right? There was non-farm payroll. And also, there's a lot of other news. There's Bank of England Governor Carney is speaking today as well. So as you can see, when you get big news coming out, you get big spikes. Now, even the big spikes doesn't really matter. What really you want to avoid is what we call gaps. Okay, gaps. And why do you want to avoid gaps? Because this is what happens, traders, when you go in a trade before big news comes out and then the trade gaps. This is what happens. Let me explain. Let's imagine that you are going long on a particular trade. Okay, something like that. Everything is going fine. You entered around here. Currently, right now, let's say you are like 100 pips in profit. Okay, and your stop loss. Let's say this is intraday trading. Okay, intraday trading, and your stop loss is around here. You've put your stop loss here, and no matter how much the market retraces, let's say you've locked in. Let's say about 30 pips. Okay, let's say you're locked in about 30 pips. All right. So unrealized profit at the moment is 100 pips. Total locked in, according to your trailing stop loss mechanism, is 30 pips. But imagine now, big news comes out in your intraday trading, let's say like non-farm payroll. Now, the last thing that you want is you want to stick through news thinking that, will go further up in your favor and you can get 200 pips profit and then you can get out of the trade. But what can happen, you see, in a big news item like a FOMC report or non-farm payroll or Bank of England interest rates? What can happen is, traders, the price can gap. And what happens when price gaps? Let me show you what happens. Okay, so let's say it opens here, but if price gaps, what can happen is you can quickly fill the next order, which is maybe let's say over here, and you can just quickly just fill it up all the way there. Now what happens out of that is very highly likely your stop loss won't get filled. Your stop loss won't get filled. Your trading stop loss won't get filled, even if it's guaranteed stop losses, okay? Because brokers will have some terms and conditions over there where they would say that in certain adverse scenarios, even they wouldn't be able to honor their guaranteed stop loss as well. So in adverse event like that, where it just gaps and just tanks all the way down, what will happen is the first the first order that's filled and you can the first order that's filled in the market will be the one where you will exit out of the trade. So in fact, even though you got 30 pips locked in over here, you would have probably from entry to where you got out, you would have lost maybe minus 10 pips. The reason why we're telling you all this is because, of course, we've experienced this out of experience as well. And the last thing that you really want out of all of that is to give your profits back. That's one. And second, imagine if it was something like that, where you're only like 10 pips in profit, and then suddenly then the price then gaps. You entered around here, let's say, and now the price then gaps and then it drops to here, and then you're losing about, let's say, minus 100 pips. You see, now this is what you do not want. Two of these scenarios you do not want, which is one where an unrealized profit goes into a loss, okay, out of a gap. We don't want that, unfilled stop losses. Second thing is you do not want also a big loss as well. You do not want that as well, okay? So this is why, please, you have to be very careful that you have to avoid gaps. It's very, very critical, especially for intraday trading. And that usually happens before big news items like FOMC, like Bank of England interest rates or non-farm payroll like today. We want to avoid all those kind of news items. So if I were to bring it up, let's see if I can show you this right now. You can see on Forex Factory, there's a lot of news items at the moment. You see on half past one, especially non-farm payroll, and in cable especially, Governor Carney is speaking as well. So we want to be very, 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 very careful around those kind of news items. Okay. So good. So that's what we have at the moment. And the final thing what I want to say is, in an outcome of a trade, especially we covered this in live trading week, one important word that you need to look into is price route probabilities. Okay, price route probabilities is what you need to look at. Now, what does price route probability mean? Now, price route probability means basically if a particular trade is going in your favor, suddenly you get a reversal bar like that, right? You get a reversal bar like that. You have to now project out and foresee what other routes can that price take. So for example, in this example, it could go further up after that, or it can do this. It can do this. So where it goes up a bit, and then finally then it comes further down. Okay, it comes further down. That's right. Yeah, so you have to project these price probabilities and see the percentage probabilities of these two scenarios happening. To see the percentage probabilities of these two scenarios happening, you have to see that. All right, so that's what we call by price probabilities. We did this in real time in the live trading week room today, over 3 days. Immense 3 days. People were really, really happy about all of that. Really immense value as well. And of course, if you all want to join that, that will happen like every 2 weeks. No, every 2 months actually. This is what we do, live trading week usually. And you can keep a note in our emails for that as well. Right. So that's one of the things I wanted to cover really. In terms of the topic for Forex Friday, which is 4 outcomes of a trade. I've told you the 4 outcomes, right? And the second thing that we then covered from the 4 outcomes. So 4 outcomes is what we covered. We covered the big wins, small losses, and big losses, which you want to avoid. And I also covered why you want to avoid news as well, because you want to avoid the last outcome, which is the big losses. And finally, I also looked at price route probabilities as well, which will help you look at the outcome of a trade. Which price route is price going to take? Okay, right. So That's the topic. Now let's do our trade reconcile. Let's do our trade reconcile like we always do. So let's look at all the strategies that we trade over here in Master the Markets, and let's look at how we performed for this week. Okay, so we start off with the elite journal. So we start off with smart money at the moment. So smart money trade today, this week. What really happened is, I know last week was a really good whooping profit week, but this week, cable was the one that we closed out. We have two live positions at the moment, Aussie dollar and dollar Swiss as well. Aussie dollar is only a system trade at the moment because we didn't actually manage to catch it live, because we always also measure between what we actually took live and what the system would have taken as well, also to see the gaps in the performance. Now cable on the other hand, in fact we took it only on system as well, the same thing over here that we did. So let me just take a note of that. GBP USD system only, I'll just put it in, because you see traders, you have to track on what would have happened if you only did according to the rules, and what would have happened if you did not take the trade as well. Okay, so that's what we have on cable over here. In terms of the trade, we took a small loss on that, 34 pips of small loss for this week. Other than that, dollars is still open. Aussie dollar is open on the system trade as well. Okay, right. Okay, so now that's with cable. So we took a minus 34 realized loss on that on smart money. Now, in terms of the other ones, MG 4.0. So Morning Glory 4.0, which we do absolutely every day, every morning live, and we send you video updates as well on certain trades and all that. So how do we do on that perspective? So today on live trading way, we did take that as well. So in terms of the system, Morning Glory actually, let me just quickly just do that for you. Morning Glory actually did minus 20 pips in terms of Morning Glory. But our life account, in terms of what we're doing in real time, only took -2 because we missed some trades, and we used some discretion and we didn't take other trades as well. So in fact, I would just say that in terms of what we really did, so that was a -2 pips only in terms of Morning Glory. Now moving on to basically our live trade membership trades that we do for members over here. We took money bars. There was no trades at all this time round, and basically then we did also PTP, profit turning points. Lift off as well, no trades this week, only for last week, which we had really nice whooping profits as well over here, about 200 pips or more. So lift off, no trades. Profit turning points, no trades. But money bars, we did have a trade on the Aussie dollar, and we did make a really good profit on that as well. We did make 60 pips of profit on that. Okay, we did make 60 pips of profit on that. Right, so if I were to put that all together and I were to piece that all up, so what do we have as a summary? So money bars, no trade, right? No trade. And this week, so smart money, we had a small loss of -34. Now next, in terms of PTP, we had 60 pips profit, and MG 4.0, we had -2 pips. Okay, and finally Liftoff 2.0. What did we have? Liftoff 2.0. We had no trades as well. Okay, no trades as well. So when we add this all up together, we end up with a net profit for this week of 24 pips. 24 pips. Do remember, traders, that in terms of all these strategies, do not always go after every week to be a whooping profit. As I said, four outcomes of a trade. Okay, all we want to always keep in track is that we want to make big wins like we made last week, about 254 pips like that, and then we want to make small wins like this week, make small losses, which we do on certain weeks, but never traders, big losses. We don't do that. Okay, so you got to avoid that totally. Okay, so that's our trade reconcile. So that's our trade reconcile for this week. So we're up 24 pips for this week. Okay, so I believe that you all got immense value from this video. And as we say, till the next time, stay disciplined, follow your trading plan, and keep trading like a master.